Oh no, you're recording.
I thought you already put your lipstick on.
It's not, it's lip oil.
You're putting on your lippy.
Always.
Lippy.
Always, always. And my my coffee.
Your chicken soup.
Basically, my half and half creamer and my chicken stock look exactly the same. I mean, as far as shape. So I was making my coffee real quick and I put chicken stock in my coffee.
You're
Probably
taking
like a
carnivore too far.
yeah, exactly. I have a little bit of chicken stock in here. It's okay. I added a little more sweetener.
Taking the carnivore a little too far for me.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll put butter in my coffee, but I'm not putting
yeah.
chicken stock in there.
Oh my god. I love Kerrygold in my coffee.
Yeah,
Kerrygold, oh
it's
my
good.
god, it's so good. I know this has nothing to do with reselling, but we made 2 nights ago browned butter, a whole stick of butter, so it's, like,
Mhm.
nice and brown and it's got little
Yeah,
bits in it, and then I added cocoa, just cocoa powder, and then I added a little bit of, like, my coffee syrup, which is a sugar-free syrup, and
yeah,
then I put it in these silicone molds, so it's just, like, little wafer type things.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, it is the best. It tastes like the best chocolate I have ever had in my life.
Yeah,
I'm
I heard
obsessed.
I was watching something and I saw them
Oh,
browning the butter and they made them little things so they could put them in their coffee. And I
uh-huh.
was like, I need to do that. I need to do that
And I put
because I
salt
do
on the
like
top.
butter in my coffee.
The
Oh, yeah, yeah,
salt
a
on the
little salt.
top made it yeah, I'm not putting that in my coffee. Like, I'm putting that in my mouth because it was so good.
That's what she
Like,
said.
That's what she said.
that but I do love some, Kerrygold in my,
Yeah, it's good.
it's just that it's got that it's almost like a nutty taste, like a hazelnut or
Mhm.
whatever. I love
Yeah.
it. I'm
The,
obsessed.
Costco sells some from New Zealand too, that's good.
What
It's
brand is
their
it?
like, it's the Costco brand. Like, they
Oh, okay.
branded it, but it's
It's a grass-fed
grass-fed
butter?
from New Zealand,
Ooh,
and
I'm
it's
gonna have
good,
to
and it's a little cheaper than Kerrygold if you need to. I just tried it to see if it was any good, and it's good, so
uh-huh. Is it that rich yellow color?
I
Yum.
think. I haven't had it in a while.
Love
I
it.
need to buy some more.
Yeah, we
So
just pick it up at like, when they have it in stock at Aldi's, we'll scoop
mhm.
it up. And we have like a not a deep freezer, but a stand-up freezer in the
Yeah.
garage, and we just
Uh-huh.
stick it in there. I will never eat any other butter than that, like, in my house.
Regular butter's fine too, but
It's
I do like that.
inferior
I eat
now.
that the most. Yeah, it is.
Like, I've been spoiled. And it's
Mhm.
only been the last, like, couple years, probably the last 4 years or so that we've been eating the Kerrygold butter, but
Yeah.
it's so good. So this is what you guys came for. The content you were all looking for was my chicken noodle soup coffee. But today
Just
we're
good
gonna
butter.
talk about to skew or not to skew your, eBay
That
inventory.
is the question.
You're listening to the Flippin' Fantastic Podcast.
If you're watching this and you aren't subscribed, go hit that button right now and watch this.
Let's be real, we're the #1 reselling podcast.
People, have some opinions, some strong opinions about it,
Mhm.
don't you think?
Mhm.
Everybody's different. I mean, I think we're the same. Well, are we the
We're the
same?
same.
Except for well, no, because your coffee mugs and my coffee mugs aren't skewed either. They're
But
just like
they are the one thing well, we'll get into it more, but
yeah.
I'll wait. I'll wait. Wait.
You're like, "Put a pin in it, put a pin in it." And then we were talking about promoted listings and stuff, and you said you saw something about instead of doing promoted listings, do something with charities? What was that? Do you
No,
remember?
well, it was just a rural squirrel video, and she was like, when you search, if you're promoted, you're up higher in the search. And she said that if your listing is a give to charity listing, it also is higher in the search. So you can do either. So if you
Okay.
have, and she had a charity, she had a friend who has a charity, and she got them to set up on eBay. So
Oh.
she was like, why don't you, go through eBay? And I think that's what she was saying, that she got, I don't know if they are on eBay or if they were getting on eBay.
Uh-huh.
I forget. It was a while ago. And
I wonder
Kristen, if you're watching, tell us
yeah,
about
tell
it
us.
down in the comments, please.
And what's the
But yeah,
minimum
she
that
said so like give fees to eBay or give some to charity. So, but I don't know what the minimum is you have to give to charity. Like,
I think
if it's
that
like 10%, it's more than I promote, and I promote too
True.
much. Like I'm in the process of taking it down a notch to see.
Yeah.
Although I'm
Well,
not selling right now as it is, so
you're not
taking
selling
that promoted
anything?
listing off might kill me.
Well, I have a draft. I'm gonna pretend I'm gonna do it as a portion to charity, and we'll see
Okay.
what the least amount is. The least amount is 10%. That's the lowest you can go. And I toggle through a couple of different donate tos, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're all
But
10%.
if you have something like in a category you might need promoting on because it's, let's say, jewelry, there's so
Uh-huh.
much jewelry, and you have a charity, like I said, this was her friend's charity. But if you have something, near and dear to your heart or something, why not give them some money instead of eBay? You're gonna be higher up in the search, so it's something to think about.
It is. I wonder what percentage of that percentage goes to that donation, like to
Just
that
goes
cost.
to the actual charity. Yeah.
Yeah, like, does eBay take 50% of that donation? Like, I wonder I'm sure they take a percentage of it.
It's a consideration, I guess.
Yeah, I don't promote high. If I promote, the highest I go is 2.2. I think we talked about this
Yeah.
before.
I
2.2.
was there and then I went higher. It's
Mhm.
probably the only reason I make any sales at the moment over the last year, honestly.
Mhm. When you
But
do
I
your
don't know.
packing when you do your packing and stuff, how many of your sales are from promoted listings? You know how, like, you can see it? I have a spreadsheet, so I write everything down in my spreadsheet, and I can see the promoted fees for each one, like, if it is a promoted
Yeah, I don't
listing.
know. I don't know.
Like, today when I was doing orders, like, it's, like, maybe 35% of it was, from promoted listings. Some of the orders that I packed, I know I didn't promote because it was, like, not a one of a kind, but, a one-off type of a situation, so I
Right,
know I didn't
right,
need to promote it. But
right.
I know other
Yeah.
people would still promote. I don't know. Do you promote it if the sell-through is high?
I put in a thing where everything was promoted at a certain cap. I am in the process of changing that. So,
Oh, okay. So do you delist and sell similar?
yeah, and I wasn't changing that.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I have like a standing promotion, everything recommended plus or minus whatever. I forget.
Oh, okay. Like
Yeah.
yours is
So, well, I'm in the middle of changing that. So let's just say I'm tired of paying all those fees. So I'm gonna try. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We already talked about this. It takes me a long time to figure stuff out. I gotta contemplate. I'm a contemplator. So I've been thinking about this for several weeks now.
You have?
Yeah, I haven't changed it, but I've
Oh.
been thinking about it. I've been thinking
Well,
about
what
it.
if you
I
just
don't know
went through
exactly
your
what I'm gonna do.
store and every day delisted and relisted, like, 10 items a day till you got through your store, and then just
Yeah, and
changed
that's
the
probably
fee
that's probably what'll
in
do it, but
those 10?
I have to go into I have to take that fee I have to take that promoted thing off. Like, I have to go in and because it applies to everything. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
okay. Yeah.
So I have to go take that off. I just haven't yet because I'm afraid when I do.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I might as well just do it because you can't get any less sales
Then you
than
have
I'm
now?
having.
W
Almost can't get any less sales.
Well, I mean, hey, there you go. That's a good way to just like a clean slate, you know?
Yeah.
We know people that have, like, delisted their entire store and brought it back.
The last couple times, I go through every day and I do and sell similar. I just go and look in whatever's under 24 hours, whatever's about to relist
Mhm.
automatically. That's what I relist and sell similar. Few days now I have ended, but I haven't relisted. So that's the other part of my problem. Because I was like, let me see what I'm going to do. Also want to look at a few things.
Uh-huh. Do a little assessment.
Yeah. So I don't have as many listings as usual.
Well, I'm gonna write that down. We're gonna come back to that.
It's
Circle
a new year, new Mo. I'm like my year started on my new year started February 15th. What's today? The
t
19th?
today's the 19th.
I rested. I got some sleep. I was like, what's my problem? I If you can't sleep, magnesium L-thronate. I think that's how you say it. Ah, I slept so good last night. I slept so good. I could have slept a little more, but I had to get up and do the show. because Amy makes
Oh.
me get up early.
Oh my gosh. It's 1 day a week, Mo, and it's not even early. It's 9
No, but
o'clock.
I'm joking. The
We
anyway,
have
new
we
year,
have a
new Mo.
tea. We have a tea that we drink. Like it's a like we have all of the herbs. Matt's
Hmm.
into like all of this like holistic type stuff. So we have
Yeah,
like mugwort and like a dandelion root and all of this. It's
I've
gross. The tea
tried
is
it, but
gross, but
yeah,
it
no.
works.
Mm-mm.
It works, Mo. And you don't have to drink a
I've tried.
lot.
No.
No?
I'm gonna take my magnesium. I need the magnesium anyway. I'm gonna take my magnesium. I'm gonna skip tea that is not flavored like tea.
Oh, well, Matt will put he'll put like berries in it. He put like some raspberry and blueberries in it, so it's got like a berry undertone. It's not good. Like I can't. You're only probably drinking like a half, like a literal half a cup, like a half of a measuring cup, and it
Yeah.
will like you will sleep well. You like Matt doesn't remember his dreams ever, and I dream like multiple dreams every night, and I wake up and I
Mhm.
can remember all my dreams. So I don't have a problem dreaming, but he will dream and remember his dreams, and he's like they're wild, and I'm like you're probably dreaming, and you just don't remember them.
The only time I remember them is if I sleep later and I wake up just naturally because I have to go to the restroom, you
Uh
know?
huh. Yeah.
And then I have some weird thing, but that's the only time I remember. Really, I don't remember either. Yeah, I'm not drinking, no offense. Tell Matt I don't want his dirt tea. I'm gonna take magnesium. No, I'm just kidding.
His dirt
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
It's very earthy.
Ever wonder what happens when the filter comes off? That's why we created Dash of Sass. It's your one-way ticket to everything and anything, served with a side of sarcasm and a sprinkle of sass. Listen every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts. I promise you'll thank us later.
I did go to estates. I went to 2 estate sales this weekend. Surprising. One of them I intentionally went to, and then the other one I just happened to see a sign for. Let's see, what did I get? I only got one thing at both of them. Well, only got one thing, and it was an axe. And we were just talking about axes last week, so I have another one to add to my death pile. It's a
The
true.
picture I used on last week's thing, she's actually like the champion axe thrower or something. The body. I mean, I put your
Yeah.
head on top of it.
Oh, wow. That I thought she was holding like a big axe too. Like it was
Yeah,
big.
I don't know if that's one she throws. I don't know.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, I see. I see.
It was it was a very posed
Yeah.
picture.
Of course, I forgot that we had talked about that too. I was like, oh yeah, axes, and it was a true temper axe. I paid $5. It was a family run estate sale, so there was no prices on anything. And when I went there, there was a lady in the garage, like at the garage door was open. So I walk up and I was like, oh, do we go in the front door or can we go in through the garage? And she's like, well, the garage is just the tools, and then you just go inside. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I was looking like at the garage, and she's like, you have to go in the front door to go in the house. And I said,
Mhm.
okay. I said, well, is it okay if I look in the garage? And she's like, yeah, there's just tools though. And I was like, oh, that's what she was trying. She was basically going, there's nothing you're going to be interested in here.
Little does
So
she know,
I know.
axe
So
queen.
I saw a pile of handles sticking up in the corner, like next to, they had a refrigerator in the garage, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Ooh, are these gonna be all axes?" There was only one axe, and the rest were
Mm.
like, not I don't know if they're called pickaxes, but they're the ones with the like, I don't know, they look like a pick on the end, like
Mhm.
double-ended, one of
Yeah.
those. So she said $5. I said, "Okay." So you hold on to it. Don't let anybody get it. And then the rest of the stuff was just nothing I was interested in. Like some of it had prices, they were they were high. And then the next
Right.
estate sale was super high. Like I was just like, "Oh
Really?
my god, yeah." I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is like more than eBay prices." I didn't recognize the people that ran it, but they were young.
Mhm.
They were young. Like they looked like t-shirt bros. They were
Oh,
that
no.
young. And there was no clothes. And the funny thing was, there was clothes at this estate sale and they were super cheap. But I did see a sweater that I wanted to buy. It was like a vintage, like super old. I should have bought it. It was like a cardigan and it had to have been from like the Naval Academy, but it was
Mhm.
completely mothed out. Like, there was, like, holes everywhere on this, and I still should have bought it. I don't know why I didn't. I was kicking myself when I left. I was like, "Damn it, I should have still bought it," because I'm sure somebody would have wanted it because it was, like, totally distressed, or maybe the patch that was on it, like the N.
Mhm.
There's, like, a big N for the Naval
Yeah.
Academy. I'm assuming it was the Naval Academy because he had a bunch of old military stuff, but not any
Right.
military stuff that I was interested in, but
Mhm.
you went ghost hunting instead of
Yeah, Friday had luncheon at my aunt's house for my sister, and then Saturday we went up there early because it's like an hour and a half drive. We went out to eat, and then we have to set up and stuff. So there was one estate sale, but I didn't have time to get there.
you should have brought home some haunted rocks. You could have listed those on eBay.
Yeah, right.
Well, we can at least go over what we sold. 2 of our best, well, not best. I just pick random sales. 2 sales. What?
You're
Well,
like, I just pick random
I
$100
did.
bills.
They're not none of these. I don't even think any of these
Let
are
me
I picked were over 100. I don't think so.
I was I was going to boycott this week's 2 sales because I told you my sales are in the trash, and I have at least 3 offers I accepted that nobody's responding to. Like, they're
They haven't
not
paid.
paying.
Yeah.
So maybe they will. We'll see. They're not
Yeah.
anything great, but
No.
dang, and all I've gotten over the last week is just the lowest of low balls, like less than 50%.
Yeah.
They come in waves though. They come in waves. It's like you have like a week like that where everybody's just like, let me give you trash
I
offers. And
I
then I
agree.
offer something reasonable. Like I think mine's more than reasonable. Like I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, let me get rid of something here.
Yeah.
And they're like, no. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm not, also not. I'd rather give it back to Goodwill than sell it to you for less than half. It's like what I paid for it. God.
And
Anyway.
then they'll send, like, a snide little comment too, like,
Hmm.
"This is the most I'm willing to pay," or something. Because I had somebody
Yeah.
send an offer for 80% off, and I was just like,
Wow.
80%?
I
And then
know.
the
This is
comment
not the clearance rack.
yes, and then the guy it was a vintage VHS that it was a vintage sealed VHS. I don't even remember what it was, like American Werewolf or something. They
Mhm.
sent an offer for like $5. It was probably listed for 20. They sent an offer for 5, and then I countered with something, and then he countered even lower, and he said, "Hey, you should just go ahead and take this because a sale is a sale." And the price tag, and he wrote the price tag is on the VHS. And I wanted to say, yeah, the price tag from 1984 or whatever
Right,
the year
exactly.
was.
Yeah, right?
I didn't decline it. I just let it
Yeah.
expire. I was just like, I'm just gonna
What a
let him
jerk.
think about it.
Right.
So
Let him
anyway, crazy.
I alwa and, I always leave those old price tags on there, like, if they're
Yeah.
really old,
Mhm. Yeah.
the original, because,
People like that to see that stuff.
yeah.
And it was from Farmore. Do you remember a store called Farmore?
No, we didn't
I
have
don't
that
know.
around here. It sounds familiar, but I don't think we had them here.
It didn't sound I mean, I don't think we had them either, but it was like, "Oh, this kinda sounds familiar. What's your, 80%
Alright.
off sales?"
No, actually, these 2, they paid full price. Here is I sold Mary. It's a
Oh.
old it was like one of those, like, laminate pictures on wood. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Very
Okay.
vintage, like 70s, 60s, I don't know.
Yeah.
So Mary sold,
How big is that? It looks big.
no, she's probably only like 12 inches,
Oh, okay.
maybe a little more, like 14 by,
Gotcha.
6 or something. And then I sold this little jar. That's an apple.
Cute.
That one sold promoted. So 50%. Anyway, I've had that one for a while. Mary, I haven't hasn't been up that long.
What do you mean, it was promoted? You had a 50% off promotion going on?
No, I mean it's sold via promoted listing. Says it.
Oh, 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 oh. I thought you
We're
said
we're talking about
50%.
promoted. We were
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
promoted listings, and so
Is that one of
half of
those
mine.
that you put a spoon in and it has like the notch for a spoon?
It does not. No, it didn't have a spoon. It wasn't like a sugar bowl or anything.
Oh yeah, sugar bowls. I was like, what do you put in
Just a
those?
little trinket or jar. I don't know.
Those do
It didn't have a
well. Little
this
trinket
one sat
boxes.
for a while, so but I'm glad it's gone. So there's
Yeah.
my under $20 sales.
Oh, Mo, you're so funny.
It's the truth. All
It
right,
doesn't
let's
matter.
look at one of yours.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I already forgot I sent this. It's a Kelly kettle. Do you know what a Kelly kettle is, Mo?
No.
You
Mm-mm.
don't. It's a camping device. It sounds really weird. You put the fire inside and the bottom, and then you pour
Okay.
water into the top, except the
Right.
water doesn't go in the middle, it surrounds the pot. So there's like a little it's almost like it's an insulated kettle
So
instead of
like a tube in it or something? Like
there's
a
not it's not a tube, it's, like, completely open. You know how, like, insulated like, a thermoses, they have, like, an
yeah.
insulation layer? The
Yeah.
water would go in between the insulation layers,
Oh, okay.
so it's basically like a thin layer of water all the way around this, and then the fire
Okay.
shoots up into the middle, and it heats
Uh-huh.
the water.
Where's
It's
the
called a
cork
Kelly
go?
kettle. The cork goes on the tippy top. Well, it's not on the tippy top, it's on, like, the top side. It's to keep the water in from
Okay.
boiling out, but the fire will shoot out the top. I know it's
I've
kinda
never
weird.
seen
I
yeah, I've
have
never seen one of these before.
we bought this at, like, one of the thrift stores. It was only $10, and we've sold these before, and this one
Okay.
was in brand new shape. It sold for 54.88, so keep an eye out for these
Wow.
guys. Kelly kettles,
Yeah,
they're different
I've
looking.
never seen one of those before. That's interesting. All
Yeah,
right,
some
here's your
camping
even
stuff.
better sale.
You're so funny.
Oh no,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sorry. I picked the better one first. My bad.
I picked this one because it's a granny square,
Granny
sweat
squares.
granny square vest, and it's new with
Uh-huh.
tags. It's super cool.
It's not like homemade. It's got tags in it.
Mhm. Yeah, it's not, but it is actually, like, crocheted, like, it's still it's kinda see-through, like a crochet
Right. You
vest.
can't there's no crochet machines. There's only knitting machines, so that's interesting. Like
Well,
what
I don't
brand is
know.
it? What's it?
It's called Westco, I don't know, or
Oh,
Wesk, I'm not sure, and it's a unisex one. It sold for $40.39. Yeah, I didn't obviously, we're only doing 2, but I also sold 2, hunting vests this past weekend. 2 of them. Like, that's just so random. They're both vintage hunting vests. Is it and then there's another hunting vest that I have that has a watcher on it. It's like, what hunting season is in the
I don't
spring?
know. What's in the spring? Is it ducks? I don't know.
I don't know, but they're selling.
All
I
I know
mean,
is around here it's like deer season, the end of November. Although like bow season's a different time than it's earlier
like bow
than
hunting?
I don't
I
know. I
don't
have
know.
hunter friends, but I don't pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know when.
I only pay attention at yard sales when I see hunting vests. Well, it says some regions have waterfowl, small game, spring bear hunting, and
Oh, there you
turkey.
go.
What?
Get you some
Oh.
bear meat.
Oh, it says turkey hunting. Spring is often the peak season for turkey hunting in many states. So maybe
Turkey in the spring? Hmm.
that's what it says. That's what ChatGPT says. I don't know if it's talking about the United States, but I don't remember where these vests were going. So
Yeah,
I guess
turkey, wild boar, and sometimes bear. I don't want to eat any of that.
you
I'm
don't
not
want to
even
eat
that
turkey?
turkey's okay. I'm
Oh.
not that big a fan. It's always dry. If you're
I
gonna deep fry it, I'll eat.
Deep fried turkey? Oh, wow. Do people eat bears? Why are they hunting bears? Or is it a
People
control thing?
do.
What?
People do. Did you yeah.
Bear
Did you
meat?
ever
I've never
watch the Alaska homestead people?
the bush
Whatever it was
people?
called?
The Alaskan
The
bush?
homestead people well, there was the bush people, but then there's just the homesteading people. It's like Joel's family, the singer Joel family.
Oh. Oh, yeah, yeah, I remember that.
What
Yeah,
do they
they
call
eat
it?
bear?
Alaska, the Wild Frontier or something? I forget what they called the show.
Something.
Drew always likes to point out that they're not that far from a Walmart, but it's like, well, you could be near a store and still hunt.
That's true. That
And,
is true.
they had cattle and stuff. But I know that the one, I think it was like Joel's dad, he would like hunt and eat bear.
Oh,
Just sounds,
I don't
it's
know.
not appetizing to me.
No, not at all. I mean, remember when Mike brought gator to, Thanksgiving dinner? That was pretty
Yeah.
gamey. That's funny that you were talking about the Alaska people, 'cause do you remember I don't remember the name of the show, but it was like the Alaskan bush people or something, but it was the
Yeah.
Brown family, remember them?
hmm
They had all
Mhm.
those kids with the accents. Anyway,
Yeah.
that girl, Snowbird, she's on my For You page on TikTok. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
Like, her lives just come up, and it's her, and she looks exactly the same. I don't know why it's showing up. Why is that showing up on my For You page?
'Cause all your homesteading.
Maybe.
Bear's
But
carnivore, Amy.
I will stick to my salmon, shrimp, beef, ham,
Mm,
bacon, some
mm.
Italian sausage, eggs. We had
New
salmon the
bear.
other night. It was really good. I was like, "Oh
I'm
my
not
god,
a
this is so
fan.
good."
I'm not a I know you should eat salmon, and I'm just not really a fan.
No. Too fishy?
I don't know. And it's not I don't it's like I like seafood, but salmon is just not my favorite. Like, I'm not gonna pick it off a
Yeah.
menu.
I'm not like, "Ooh, let's have salmon tonight." Like, if we're having salmon, Matt's cooking it because I'm just kinda like, "Eh, I'm just not interested." Like, and,
Right.
like, if it's prepared and given to me, I'm like, "Okay." That's how I feel about popcorn too. Like, I like popcorn, but I'm never in the
Yeah.
mood for popcorn until it's, like, presented to me. Like, "Oh, it's done." I'm like, "Oh, yay."
Movie popcorn, with whatever
Oh,
that
well, that's
oil is
yeah.
they put on.
Yeah, that's not
Real
good for
butter,
you, though.
though.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, Mo, we gotta talk about skewing and doing
Okay.
inventory.
To
So,
skew or not to skew.
because this is a hot topic apparently in the world of reselling.
The world is divided.
Yes,
Should you skew or not? Do
I
you
know.
skew, Amy?
100%.
Yes.
100%.
I skew as well. You learn real fast. Even when I didn't have that, when I was just starting and I didn't have that much listed, I was like, I gotta start labeling this stuff
Uh-huh.
because I didn't
The
do it from the very beginning. I didn't when I first started because I barely had like a shelf full of stuff.
yeah.
It wasn't that big a deal, but
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
soon became that big a deal.
Yeah, same. Like, when I first started, I had, a small like, a tote, maybe just a tote of stuff, but
Yeah,
once I started, learning about clothes and went down that rabbit hole of learning,
right.
I
Hmm.
had to start skewing. Like, I
Right.
used to do, like, lavender clothesline did, and then I quickly was like, "Oh, I can't do what she does." She would do like, my SKU is numbers for clothing,
Right.
but she would do, like, a tote of men's short sleeve shirts, and they would be
Yeah.
solids, men's short sleeve solids,
Right.
and
She still
I
does that. I mean, that's yeah.
yeah, but I don't know how you're doing that if you've got 10 black shirts. Then you're gonna have to look at them to make sure that you're
Right.
getting the right black
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, they're off there. You're putting all the solids in one place, but then they're all the same color. And then
yeah,
it's like, is this navy or black? Because some navies are so dark, they look black.
and it
Yeah,
just
and
takes
she well,
time.
I mean, she doesn't have a problem. So obviously it worked for her, but I mean, not that she tells us that she's has a problem.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't do that. I would have to put numbers on there.
Oh, yeah,
Now, do you buy those labels with numbers on them?
I do. Yeah.
Mhm.
I have them in, like, boxes on my storage shelves, and then they're skewed, and then they go in chronological order, and then I
Right.
just, like, push them all like, every month, I'll just, like, push them all to the side. I used to do what she did. I used to do what she did, and
Mhm.
I remember somebody ordered a black short sleeve, like, golf shirt or something. I picked the wrong one. Mailed it
Mhm.
out, and they were like, "Oh, they bought the wrong you sent the wrong one." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." And I was like,
Yeah.
"I'm done. I'm done." Like, I mean, I took care
Right.
of it and made it right, but I
Mhm.
was like, "I'm done." And that's when I started to, like, change the SKU
Yeah.
to
And
do
I think
numbers.
and if you don't know this, you can buy like rolls of little labels, sticky labels that go 0 to whatever.
Mine go to
So you can
10,000, yeah.
yeah, so you can just, you get to use those. That's especially like for stuff that you're bagging and clothes and stuff. I don't have those because I don't have that, I don't have clothes like that. I mean, I do have totes, as you know, my little sticker SKUs. I
Yeah.
got, Slytherin tote and a and a Hufflepuff tote and a
And I
anybody that resells has misplaced something.
oh, yeah.
I think it's also easier to find something that you've misplaced when well, maybe, it depends. But for me, I find it a little bit easier to find something that has been misplaced. And it doesn't happen often because like I'll find a tote that has room and I'll put a bunch of stuff in that. And then I'll
Mhm.
just, I'll label all those things that I listed that day for that tote. And if I miss one, I can look at what else I listed the same time. And I go, well, I put all those in that tote. It's probably in there,
Yeah.
And then that has happened, and I have found it fairly quickly that way.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. The clothes go in those bags on the
Right.
on the
Yeah.
thing, and then everything
Mhm.
else goes in totes, and
Mhm.
I like, it says like B1, B2, all the way up. Same thing. That's what I'll do too. I'll check if like for some reason I mis-skewed it or something. I will see what else I sold or listed that day, and it's probably
Yeah.
in that same one.
So Lavender, use her as example. She's got a shelf that's wood, a shelf
Uh-huh.
that's metal, and then she's got a shelf that's other breakables. Like I'm not I know she has a wood shelf and a metal shelf. But then
Uh-huh.
she sells a lot of stuff like that. I don't know how people remember when they just put and it's funny because on my shelves breakables, I put similar things on the same shelf, but I do put the shelf name in there
Yeah.
because I don't always put it, like sometimes there's not room. The only thing, and we both talked about this, the only thing that I just don't bother putting anything in the SKU is coffee mugs because I put them on the exact same place. They're
Uh-huh.
all on the same shelf, and I
Yeah.
don't get any more until there's room for more.
Oh, okay.
So that's automatically where they go. But I don't,
Right.
that's an easier thing to, like, what if you buy something that's wood and metal? Where do you put it?
Exactly. And then you've got to think about if other people are gonna be pulling orders for you. I mean,
Yes.
and then maybe their mind works differently and they're like, well, why would you put this in that section when it's a vintage? Like it's MCM. You have like an MCM category. Why isn't it in the
Right.
MCM instead of
And let's talk about somebody like, point him out, Commonwealth, Kevin.
Oh,
I
jeez.
mean, he seems to know where all his stuff is, but I say this all the time. He is a certain type of teacher, a certain type of social studies / history teacher with all their stuff around, right? His cabin's decorated with all that stuff's listed. It's not just
Uh-huh.
his stuff. That's listed stuff. How do you remember that little Hulk figure is up there on the top by the like I don't it's great that he can remember. But what if somebody else has to has to sell it, has to pack it for him?
Yeah. I always just wonder because he's not the sole lister in his
Right.
house. So he has
Mhm.
employees and family members that
Yeah.
list. How do they know where to put the stuff? Or are they allowed to
Do
put the stuff away?
I was gonna say, do they even put the stuff or does he put it? Do they just because he
Put it in
lists
a
in the
tote?
other cabin. Do they bring it there and he puts it away?
I don't know.
But
But
he's got
it's
stuff in the basement too. Like how does he
yeah.
know what's in the basement?
It's like, why not just I don't know. Why not
I
just
love him.
skew it?
I'm glad he can find his stuff. I couldn't do that.
Yeah. We heard that Heather had to pull orders and Heather wasn't happy because
Oh yeah, well, I mean, he said it. He
yeah,
said it. She
she
was
was
like,
not
"You idiot!"
happy. But
Yeah,
it's just kinda like it's almost like, just thinking of it in the future. If you're,
yeah,
like, gonna focus more on social media stuff, then you're probably doing less and less, listing on,
right.
platforms. I don't
Mhm.
know.
I
So,
mean, it makes for he's got a great backdrop in his cabin. We've all been there, and it's frustrating, and it makes you crazy when you can't find something.
yeah.
I don't like spending my time looking for things.
I don't even wanna have to think about it,
No,
like,
I
at
just wanna
all.
go. I get my phone out and I go look at where everything is and I pull it and I take it over to my table. I will say the worst it happened to me, it rarely, knock on wood, now I'll lose something. Knock on wood. The most it happened to me was I had started small and I had everything on a shelf in another room up here, and then I was like, this is quickly and a couple totes. I had a shelf and a couple totes, and they were all up here. And I was like, this is too much for up here. And I was like, basement time, right? And started in the basement. And that was the only time moving that stuff from the shelf down that I didn't lose them. It just took
Mhm.
me more than a minute to find them,
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Also, like, if you're I mean, I don't know. I just think of this as, like, if you're going into this, like, you probably wanna scale your business. So, if you start skewing from the jump, then
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about, growing your business because 'cause you're already doing it.
It's
And
very hard to do past a few hundred things. I mean,
yeah,
I didn't start from the jump, but I started very soon after.
yeah. Well, when it was still
Um,
easy to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it was easy. It was easy.
'Cause you want to cut your fulfillment time down. You don't want it to take up, like, a lot of space, like, a lot of space and time. Like, I don't want it to take up any
Time.
space in my mind either. Like,
Right.
so, if I just pull it, I see 13, 14, I know exactly where those
Right.
are.
You
Like,
know where it is.
I can pull
Mhm.
my orders, like my weekend orders, because normally those are like the highest
The
number of orders.
most. Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I can pull them in like 5 minutes, like
Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
contained to 2 rooms, they're all skewed, and that's one of the things that I do right before I post my, listing. I always double check the SKU. Like, it's
Mhm.
just habit now. I always double check the SKU to make
Mhm.
sure that, it's correct.
Well, especially, I mean, you have numbers, so you have to make sure your numbers. Even then, even if maybe you transpose a number or something, it's probably still a little bit easier to find than just random throw it somewhere
Yeah,
because it's still you kind of know where because you keep yours in order where it's going to be. So you have
yeah,
an idea of where to look. It's
yeah.
not just it could be anywhere.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's
oh,
it's
yeah.
it's here somewhere.
And I can kinda if it has happened, which I can't even remember, but I can remember kind of like when I bought that. So it goes
Mhm.
in chronological order, so it also goes
Right. That's what I'm
when
saying.
it's
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
just bought that recently." So it was
Yeah.
probably higher numbers. And, another thing that this is like the most important to me is for inventory is if
Yeah.
you aren't skewing, how do you do a annual, inventory?
Inventory.
How do you do it? How do you do inventory if you don't skew stuff?
Um
Do you do inventory? Do you do like
Yeah,
annual?
I've never done this. I just usually go in a bin and jot down everything that I have in there, and then I
Uh-huh.
look it up. Can you print by that SKU number and just kinda look at stuff that way?
Print it? I
Like,
mean,
can you get a report of that? Do you know
oh,
what I mean?
I don't know. I don't
You
know.
know what I
I'm
mean?
sure
And then
you
I
can because
yeah.
that's how I do my inventory. I'll put in SKU B12 and that's a tote, and I'll just
And
type
you just
in
pull everything
B12
up, yeah.
and I just
Mhm.
take the tote down, I pull everything out, and then we read it one by one, all the stuff
Yeah,
that's
see,
SKU,
that's what I
in
should
that,
do. I okay, yeah, that makes more sense. I do it
and
that
then there'll
I'm
be
gonna do it
times
that
that
way. I'm gonna do it that way this time.
and there's time like the last time we did inventory, we
Mhm.
found like 6 or 7 items that weren't listed, that
Yeah.
were listed at one point because that's how they got in the
Yep.
tote, you
Yeah,
know?
and it's a mystery of why they go away. Nobody
Mhm.
knows, but yeah, but I've found that. I found several things over the
Yeah,
years that just and you're like, "Oh, this is why that hasn't sold." Because sometimes it's
exactly.
something pretty decent. You're like, "What?"
Yeah, I can remember one of the items was, like, not it fell off somehow, and then, the
Mhm.
next day I listed it and it sold
And it's
that
sold.
same day. So
Yep.
it was just
Mhm.
kinda random. Good thing for inventory. So that's just the what are some let's see, I did look up some cons to see what, like, ChatGPT said cons are,
Mhm.
and the only cons that were, like, applicable for reselling was the initial setup takes time and thought, which is, I
Yeah.
mean, I guess, yes.
Well, you just have to figure out what is it you're selling. If
Yeah,
you're primarily clothes, get yourself a roll of numbers, sticky
yeah.
numbers, and some plastic bags, and you're good.
Uh-huh.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's that bad. Now, we know that a lot of people do like things, as we said, like wood or
Mhm.
toys but there's things that are like in that middle gray area
Uh,
that I think is hard. I was going somewhere with this and now the train left the station.
no, no. Like, if you had, Monopoly pieces, like the metal Monopoly pieces, and that's it, like from some vintage game,
It's metal.
did
It's
you
a
put that in
game.
the game section or the
Right.
metals?
What if you what if you had like a wooden carved chess set? Game? Wood. Where is it?
Yeah.
Where's it go? If there's too much gray area for me.
And just growth. I just think of if you're growing your business, which everybody I'm sure is everybody's growing their business, then
Yeah.
with
Mhm.
growth, you need organization. Most people
Right.
do. Or, like, what about if you have, like, multiple items, like, quantity of items, but there's, like, variations, like, like, this one might have, like, paint rub, or this one has, like, a chip on the
Yeah.
top, and then
Mhm.
you don't know which one to pick. 'Cause I've had that. I've had, like, ornaments, like Lamax ornaments, not
Mhm.
ornaments, but they're like little figures, and I don't know how.
The
I bought a
figures, yeah.
lot of them, but they were all
Mhm.
slightly different, like, the packaging was slightly different, like, it had price
Okay.
labels on
Right.
different spots, so I
Mhm.
even when I skewed them, I even intentionally put them in different totes too, because I didn't want to put them all. I listed them all on the same day,
Right.
but
So
I
you
didn't put
didn't
them all.
pick. Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
see, and
because
that's smart because
yeah,
they're close enough that you would mess up.
yeah. So I intentionally like put it in,
Yeah.
21, 31, 41,
Mhm.
something like that. Because that's happened.
Mhm.
Like it has happened to me before, live and learn kind of thing.
What do you guys do? What
Yeah,
is what do you do? We're
I'm
SKU
curious.
people here.
We're skewers.
I just I just wanna look and get grab. I don't wanna have to pray to Saint Anthony, find my lost stuff. I don't
Exactly.
wanna I've done it. I don't wanna have to do it. It takes time.
Yeah. Tell us in the comments below if you skew or don't skew, or maybe like, I don't know, how do you do your inventory? I'm sure we see all kinds of stuff. We've seen people go from skewing to go, oh, I want open shelf policy in my like inventory shed or whatever. Not shed, but space, garages and stuff. And
Mhm.
yeah, what works best? What do you like the best if you've done them both? And let us know. And don't forget to
Yeah.
hit like and subscribe and stay. Oh, what is it?
Nope.
Oh, oh, we're flipping out. Bye.
Thanks so much for watching, and check out more of our videos right here. We're flipping out.